Hello, welcome to my Duel Links 6 Samurai video. Today I'm going to be talking about 6 Samurai, the disadvantages, the advantages in Duel Links, and what you can do to play this deck optimally. Now, obviously, as you can tell, I am not playing the deck optimally because I don't have all the cards I need. It's a very tough grind. It's not like the physical TCG where I can just buy singles of what I want, but that's just what we kind of gotta live with. Well, anyway, get started. There's two major disadvantages with this deck, which is one, the deck has a hard time getting over big monsters. So, aka the most popular deck is Blue Eyes. You always have to have hand if you want to deal with those problems. But a lot of the times, the recursion is so strong in that deck that no matter how many stuff you're popping, they could bring out a Blue Eyes, and it's the only card that they have, but it's just bigger than everything else in your deck. So yeah, you just end up crying. Um, on top of the big beat stick problem, this deck also heavily relies on Grandmaster to play. If you don't, this is why you have to play three of the card. Like, if you're not opening Grandmaster and like Doji turn one, so you can go Doji Grandmaster, send Kizaru to the grave, and then open a Reborn effect, so go out. Because this deck is just set up for your turn two play. Your turn two play, if they don't like, if they don't pop your back rows or anything like that, your reborns. Your turn two play is usually a very strong play that'll get you really into the game. But again, that's a problem because again, look at the most popular deck, Blue Eyes, and it can just kill you before turn two even happens. And this deck, a lot of background playing are just like recursion. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna always open Floodgate and then Floodgate Cosmo Brain and then I'll be safe. That's not always the case. Optimally, however, I would like it if I had triple Floodgate Trap Hole. I'd probably end up cutting this Cyclone and the Windstorm so I could play triple Floodgate when I get them. But for now, this is fine. Also, I would like a second Cyclone. Probably cut this down to one or this. Either one's fine, doesn't really matter. But at the end, you want double Cyclone and triple Floodgate to play this deck. Um, but yeah, so we play one Shogun. Shogun's really nice if you're not playing against Blue Eyes. It's amazing against everything else. Again, like I said earlier, the 3000 beat stick problem. But if you're, let's say you're playing against a deck that plays a lot of back row, they set three and you summon Shogun on them, they can only use one back row. So unless their one back row is like a Wall of Disruption, you probably end up getting the game. Unless they like Canadia, the Pelias Canadia this, but this is basically it. Um, yeah, it's not bad. I wouldn't run more than one. It can brick. And like, this game is only a 20 card deck, so even like one ofs tend to come up in your opening hand quite often. Um, Triple Grandmaster, it's how you do everything. It's how you use hand to pop monsters. It's how you use this turn one to put stuff to set up your grave for your reborn effects. It's 2100. And this card gets your deck going. You have to play three. Kizaru, I play one because you don't really want to draw him. You just want him to be in the grave. He's like your searcher. When you reborn using these two cards, you're gonna end up a lot of times just searching hand and using it to pop on your turn, whatever the threats they have. And one of the major advantages of this deck is that if it does get going, if you're like reborning your Kizarus and searching and stuff, your win rate just shoots up immensely. Like this deck, when it gets going, is very strong. Doji, this is a card you want to open going first, which is why we played three. You want to open it going first and with Grandmaster. So you play him, and then you summon Grandmaster. You send Kizaru to the grave. Then you reborn Kizaru, like on their turn or your turn, whatever. You get a hand, and then you go from there. One Cyclone. Backward removal is just so necessary. Uh, so I feel like that's self-explanatory. I don't have a second Cyclone, so I'm playing a double Cyclone. Because again, we are playing triple rebirth, so it's not always awful. Floodgate, great card. If they Blue Eye summons Cosmo Brain, you floodgate the Cosmo Brain. Playing as Destiny heroes, let that decider hit you in the face. Because when they mass change into Anki, you just floodgate the fuck out of that card. Um, that's also this is my basically my budget floodgate. Um, again the same D hero example. Let that decider hit you in the face because once the match change, you just windstorm that Anki to defense mode, and then everything in your deck can run it over. It has 1200 defense. Um, these should be self-explanatory. The reason why I'm playing so many reborn effects is because you want to open them. Reborn effects is how this decks get going. So like if you can resolve your Kizaru and start searching, then you have a really good chance of beating like any deck. Um, for granted if you don't get like OTK'd. Um, yeah, and the windstorm's just for protection, like the floodgate is. But yeah, the only card you really play in the extra deck is one Rihan. You're never gonna make more than one Rihan. I'm gonna show some example duels in a second, but like that you never make this card. Like I only ever made it once, and that's one of the videos I'm gonna show you. So if we go over to the duel replays, let me show you what this deck looks like when it's performing optimally. This is exactly what you want the deck to do. What this recording is right here. I was playing as an Odeon. I think he was playing Amazonas. But yeah, so like obviously Magic Planner's not in my deck anymore. And a lot of these replays you're gonna just see me trying out random cards in the deck. This is me trying out Magic Planner. But yeah, so he has the Onslaught, which is a problem. So we have to get that hand. So we're gonna grab hand, and then we're gonna send Doji to the grave, and then we're gonna set Mirror Wall. I was playing Mirror Wall because I was playing Magic Planner. And then we're gonna draw two. This deck can't really OTK, so they get rid of my Grandmaster. I set, summon hand, mill Doji. You send Doji, send Kizaru, pop both his monsters. Now the Secret Six Samurais have effects where if your monsters would get destroyed, you can banish them instead. But it plays around cards like a Widespread Ruin. So yeah, and that's one of the reasons you want to set up your grave. So yeah, and like that, optimally, like that's what you want your games to look like. You want all your games to be like what you just saw happen in that duel. Um, Let me show you guys what happens when you play Rihan. This is like the only situation you'll probably ever make Rihan in. Cause he's so neg. Making him, you have to use three. It's hard to make him first off. You need three samurais in the field with different attributes, and you need to banish a 6 Sam on the field or in your hand to use his effect. So like you're committing 4 cards to him, and it's really not that great. So yeah, we're playing. I figured since it was Yubel and he summoned Yaksha, we're playing against Yubel, and against that deck you really just kind of want to not do anything. I was trying out Tetsu here. I wanted to use reinforcements. But yeah, so here we go. Like I had like the world, so I made Rihan. I banished a Yaksha, so he can't bring out the Yubel. He plays the field spell. I cyclone it before he can pop his Yubel, and then we just kind of win. But yeah, and then like That's why you want these cards, like Cosmic Cyclone and stuff like that. They're just too good not to have. But yeah, so I haven't talked about abilities. Um, you could probably do whatever works for you, but the two abilities that I've liked were with Joey, with Last Gamble. You know, this deck does have things you don't want to draw, like drawing this late game or something like that. And this deck has a hard time recurring. So what you want to do is, if you can survive till turn five, you just like you last gamble, and like it can literally just like wins you the game. Um, and I have an example of that here. Like last gamble can be really crazy. It could also suck. You can roll a one and just cry, but that's not always the case. Um, see, I'm playing against 30 card Grass Boujin. You know, grass is greener is kind of a degenerate card. I didn't open that great, but hell, we're playing against Boujin, so. He has the Yamato and mill like 10 cards. He has the world. He has hares, turtles, all this stuff. I just figured it's Boujin. He's not gonna do 4,000 damage in a turn, so I just passed again. Um, but yeah, so yeah, now we can gamble. Get that Econ, get that Shogun away. We roll the 5. And now we just proceed to wreck his face. But we still have to play through all the Boujin protection. The hares, the turtles, and all that stuff. And I'm going to show you how I played out of this right now. Man. So, he ended up using the protection. That's fine though. Because we do have our reborn set. We're slowly just grinding through everything. I was gonna use Econ, but we did draw hand, so it was fine either way. Um, yeah, and then you just kind of proceed to just make him use all his resources. Yeah, and then you just kill everything. And then he didn't drop that, he didn't top deck a Beast Warrior, so we just kind of win now. But yeah, and these are the advantages this deck and this ability has. Last game was pretty good. And the other duo you saw me, I was playing Trudge. I ended up using reinforcements that duo, and it helped a lot. Um, Sometimes you just draw a Doji in late game, and you're like, I don't want to see Doji, and then you put it back in your deck. Sometimes you'll draw another Doji, but sometimes you'll get a Grandmaster or a hand, and those games, and those outcomes, it ends up being pretty good. I ended up getting to Legend Rank 3. The season just ended like a day or two ago. Um, I again, like I said, I've only been playing the game for a short time now. I got from Rookie Rank 3 to Legend 3 playing this deck. The core of the deck has remained the same, like all the monsters. That has remained the same. This is all interchangeable to whatever you want to do. You probably should be playing Reborn effects, but whatever.